To. Wrong button.
It's Kringle time. Sit back, relax. It's time to dive into a world of laughter and learning with the Kringle brothers, reminding us that we are better together.
Hey, welcome to Kringle time, everybody.
Hello. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you, Michael?
I am peachy. I am wonderful.
I am peachy. I am wonderful. Oh, that sounds like a cobbler.
It could be. Ooh, cobbler does sound good.
Doesn't that peach cobbler does sound good?
With some warm peach cobbler with vanilla ice cream. Oh, yes.
Hey, it's Santa Dave. Welcome. It's good to see you. And Nader's on, and Roger and Stacy.
And Trip is with us as well. Oh, yeah. We got a good crowd already. I'm so excited. But, Michael, how was your week?
It was a week of reflecting for me, and yeah. So just some self-awareness and reflecting and getting prep and things done. So, and how about you?
Well, I agree with you. There was some reflection that had to be involved during this course from last week to this week. And with that reflection, I realized that with the demonstration of using the crepe pair, I didn't give credit where credit was due. And that was all basically due to Lee Andrews. And I'm so thankful for the gentleman to actually show the Santa community how to apply that and how to use that in order to make their portrayal more realistic. But I also thought about it too, Michael. I mean, everything we talk about and everything that we say and do, we owe to the entire Santa community, whether it be a Santa, Mrs. Claus, an elf, or even sometimes photographers as well. So I just want to say, you know what? Thank you to everyone
yes,
who we can glean from, and we can actually bring all this information to you. Go on.
No, I'm sorry. I just didn't. All of a sudden, as we normally get together and talk, I thought, I had a brainstorm. Maybe we start a new segment called, gratitude, because I know that. That was part of my reflection. I just I have to go through going, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for this and remind myself, it's a good focus point. So, so we do appreciate everybody and thankful for the things that you've planted in us and what you've done for us. And hopefully we're able to give back more than we've received.
So, Michael, if I were to ask you right now, give me top 3 people that you would want to actually send out your gratitude for.
Oh my gosh. One would be Ted Lennon.
Okay.
Or not Ted Lennon, Ted Flynn. I worked with a Ted Lennon at school. I'm thankful for him too. But Ted Flynn would be up there. Tom McGraw would be up there.
Mm-hmm.
Tom's for the reasons that I put Tom, of course, Lee Andrews would be on there. Steve and Deb Gillen would be on there. I did 4 and 5. Sorry.
That's fine because again, Lee Andrews would be on my list as well as Steve and Deb Gillen. Leon McBride would have been another individual as well too.
Sal would be on my list too. I appreciate Sal.
But who we're also forgetting a lot is our wives.
Oh my gosh.
They put up with a lot here with even with the both of us and what we like to do. But let's just go ahead and say one more time that we love each and every one of you, and we're so blessed to have you in our lives.
Well,
But
you know what? Having somebody in your life, I'm excited tonight because we've got a special guest.
we do, and you know this.
We want to talk about marketing.
Well, what's the definition of marketing?
Well, let's see here. According to Oxford Dictionary, the activity of business of promoting and selling products or services, including marketing research and advertising.
Wow, that's a lot to say.
Well, marketing, I think there's so much encompasses it, and yeah. So to
And
help us out,
who's the expert that we got?
well, I'm not sure I'm willing. He was classify himself as an expert, but you know what? Some of the things that I've seen him do, I thought, oh, this will be fun. All the way from Ohio, would you please welcome our brother Santa Ben Belhorn?
Hi, Ben.
Is there supposed to be an expert around here somewhere? Let me go see if I can find him.
Well, let me rephrase that for you, Ben. You may not be an expert, but you expertly convey a really positive message.
Oh, thank you.
You
That's
know,
right.
I agree with that. I love how you communicate some of the things that you do, and some of the things that I'm hoping that you'll bring out tonight and share with us is some not only things that you do for you, but the people that you work with. You know, and I'm thinking of your photographers, and so we'll get there.
Okay.
But before we do all of that, why don't you tell us a little bit how you started your journey into the red suit, so people get to know you a little bit better?
Sure. So my aunt, when I was growing up, had what she called a professional Santa Claus suit, which was not. I know now it was nowhere close, but she thought it was. And so my cousins and I, each of us at a different year, had to put on the suit and be Santa Claus at the Christmas Eve dinner. And then when my oldest son was born, she bought me a Santa Claus suit that was up in the attic somewhere. And I wore it a couple years when he was young, and that was about it. Fast forward until Logan, my youngest, was about 8 years old. He's 13 now. He came home the last day before Christmas break and announced that there's no Santa Claus.
Oh,
And my heart crushed. And what do you mean there's no Santa Claus? And he said, well, my friends at school told me there's no Santa Claus. And so we spent the next couple days leading up to Christmas trying to reinforce that there is a Santa Claus and, being there. And we had him back on the edge. And so Christmas Eve, the kids have all gone to bed. Melissa's asleep. She's supposed to be helping me put presents under the tree, but it's one of those things where you have to wait till the kids are all asleep and stay awake and then not wake them up. And so she had fallen asleep also, and I had managed to stay awake. And so got all the presents out. And as I'm downstairs putting the presents out, in the back of my head, I could hear Logan's voice. There's no Santa Claus. There's no Santa Claus. And it dawns on me that somewhere in our attic is a Santa Claus suit. Now, I know we would never have thrown it away, but I also know we haven't seen it in, 15 years probably. And so I have to crawl across everything in my garage, because my garage is a mess, to find the access to the attic. And I have to climb up in the attic to find the suit, which I found. And I brought it down and I put it on, and it didn't fit, which is very disappointing when a Santa Claus suit is too small for you.
Oh,
We've all been there.
Yeah.
but it worked enough. And I said, okay, I can see what's going to happen here. I have a vision. And so I went upstairs and I went into my bedroom and I shook Melissa, and she rolled over and she looked at me and kind of glanced over and she said, I don't know what you have in mind, but I'm not interested. And I laughed and I was a little disappointed, and I said, no. All I want you to do is to come out and take a couple pictures of me. And so from our landing outside our bedrooms, you can look down to our family room and you can see kind of the edge of our Christmas tree. And I went down there and I did some poses and hold some presents and all that. And we refer to them as like the Bigfoot photos, because if you've ever seen a picture of Bigfoot, it's blurry. You can tell it's something, but you can't tell what it was. Well, these were blurry, and you can tell it's a fat guy in a red and white suit standing in front of a Christmas tree holding presents. And it did the job. And so the next morning, the kids wake up, and I met them upstairs before we go downstairs. And so, of course, they really aren't interested in hearing what I have to say. They want to go downstairs and see what's under the tree. But I get my phone and I show it to Logan. And I said, I heard a noise last night. And when I came out to take pictures, look what I saw. And they're the Bigfoot pictures of Santa Claus. And the look on his face went from, in that moment, it planted the seed. Now, I didn't become Santa Claus right then, or I didn't feel that I became Santa Claus right then, but that's what started it. And so fast forward another 3 years, I think, 4 years, and I did a thing for work. I was working for the transit authority, and I was sent to a blockage. There was hundreds of police cars blocking the road. One of our buses called in and said, well, let's go figure out what's going on there. And what it was, they called Light the Night Columbus, and police cars from all over Central Ohio do a procession. They basically cross the city, and they pull up in front of Children's Hospital. And when they get to Children's Hospital, as they approach, they turn all their lights off. There are flashing lights, their headlights, everything, and they fill up the street. It's 2 lanes each way with a turn lane, but they fill up all lanes of the street, and then all at once they turn on all the flashing lights, and they have Santa Claus out there. And so I was out there with them in this, and as you look up at the building, you can't see any people, but you can see the silhouettes of the kids in the hospital rooms waving at Santa Claus. And I looked at him, the Santa Claus there, who was, he's I recognize that fake bearded Santa is not the right thing to say, but he was a fake bearded Santa. His beard had come out of a plastic bag. He was not a designer bearded Santa. He was a police officer who had a suit that somebody handed him. But when I saw that, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to do this. And that started, I looked online. I found ClausNet. I found the Worldwide Santa Claus Network, and I took some video classes there, and I found some of you guys, and it's been a wild ride for the last 4 years since then.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And I love the idea. One of the reasons why I wanted to have you on is because it's the fresh eyes. Now, you did own a business before Santa, so I do know that you have some business background with copy machines and photos.
So we had a photo lab. So back in the old days, people had little cans of film that you put in your camera, and you'd have to take it to somebody, and they'd have to process it and make prints. Little pieces of paper with pictures. It's hard to explain. Imagine your phone, but it's a piece of paper with a picture, just one picture, not thousands. The kids today don't understand that. But no, so we printed photos, and so I was the self-appointed digital imaging manager. We had a $250,000 photo lab machine that would print digital images onto photo paper, and I read, digital imaging for dummies, basically, and Adobe Photoshop, how-to books, and then found YouTube and watched YouTube videos. And so I self-taught myself how to do digital imaging and how to create things. I created a website back when your domain name was free and things like that. Creative,
the good old days, right? Yeah. So how did you take that knowledge coming into Santa and knowing that part of marketing is just going, ta-da, here I am, let me make my presence there. So what kind of were your first steps to be able to go, I'm a Santa and here I am?
So the first thing I did was I needed to learn. And so it was online classes and learning how to be the Santa Claus. But then after doing that, I wanted to you have to be, in my opinion, you have to be where people are looking. You have to have an online presence. So I created a Facebook page for my Santa Claus, separate from Ben Belhorn. I created a Santa and You, or Santa Claus Facebook page. Then I created a website. I think it's very important to have a logo. So I created a logo. I found a color scheme that I liked. Now, one of the things I thought was important is, first, I'm colorblind, which creates some difficulty in graphic design. But also I recognize that there's somebody out there who's figured out what colors go together and what designs work, who spent a lot more money on it than I have. And the one I came up with was Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola uses the same colors we do. And if you do a Google search, you can find the Coca-Cola brand guide. And it's Coca-Cola's direction to all of their marketers of how you use their colors, how Cola, McDonald's, Wendy's, any of these big companies who use multiple places to advertise for them have their brand guides out there. And so you find out what colors work together, what designs. And so that's where my Santa marketing developed its color schemes.
Well, what's interesting is, and you mentioned that you were colorblind. I was talking to
And then
Roger one time.
Oops.
Are we getting delayed here big time, Michael?
I think we're getting a little bit of delay. Are you back with us, Ben? Are you back, Captain?
I'm back. You're here. I was alone for a minute. I fell asleep.
All right, go ahead, Michael.
Well, no, the reason I was bringing that up is being that you were colorblind. I was talking to Roger, and he says one of the things that one should do when actually creating a logo for marketing is not only do it just in color, but also to do it in black and white to see how it can actually look, because there's sometimes where color is not applicable.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I just thought that was interesting. Being that you're colorblind, but it was also interesting too that you knew where to look for the brand guide and see exactly. I mean, at least somebody can tell you what colors were in there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I tell people that, so my colorblind it's red-green colorblind, which is all the colors in the world use red and green. So that works well, especially if you're a Christmas performer. But if you take the 8-pack of Crayola crayons, I can generally figure out what the 8 colors are. If you buy the 64-pack, I think you're just wasting money. You've got like 5 or 6 color crayons that are all the same color. I don't know why you're wasting money on those.
Well, I like my aqua blue rather than blue, and I also like my princess blue. So
I don't even know what you're speaking a foreign language right now.
Too funny. So, well, let's do this. Let's take a short break. Let's run our dad joke for the evening, and then a little bit of laughter, and then we'll come back and I'd like you to touch about you said something about that you created a website, and I'd like you to expound on that a little bit.
Sure.
So, all right. So, stay jolly.
Oh my, can you tell me why Santa has problems with certain chimneys? Oh, because he has claustrophobia.
it's not claustrophobia. It's for me, it's too many cookies.
There's no such thing as too many cookies.
Well, yes, you only eat just one.
Just one cookie.
Just a cookie. Oh, I hope someday you'll get a chance to hear Ben's story that he wrote about a cookie. But all right, but before that, let's get back to on task a little bit. So the importance of your own website. I mean, and why is that important? And how do you use that, Ben? And he's back. All right, there we go.
I didn't hear your question because you were all choppy. I couldn't.
So in other words, you created a website. Why is creating that website, for Santa important, and how do you use that?
Sure. So all of your marketing and promotion is you're driving traffic somewhere. You have to have some place to drive the traffic to, and then when they get there, they need to be able to do something. So Facebook was the first place I was driving traffic to. But when they got to Facebook, all they could do is read my posts and send me messages, which really didn't do anything. And so I recognized very early on I needed a website. And then very early on, I found Kringle Tracker, who was one of your sponsors, and they have a lead widget. And the lead widget is a very simple code you can add to the website. And if you've ever used Gig Salad, it's just very similar to that as far as the client can put in their information and send it to you. That they want to book you. And so all of the, my Facebook posts, Twitter posts, all the things I'm sending out there is all driving traffic to my website where they will find my lead widget. And so that's the goal. of all your marketing, the only reason to have it is to get that information for somebody who says, I want to book you. And so that's what it is. And so there's a lot of tools you can use. My website is not a fancy website. I build it myself on Google Sites, which is free. So the only thing it costs me to have the website is $12 a year for my domain name. The website is free, and it works really well. It does exactly what it doesn't have some of the features that if you're willing to pay, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a website, I'm sure you can have a lot more features than mine has. But mine works great for me. It fills my schedule more than I can handle.
So what kind of information do you have on the website?
If I think it's interesting to somebody, it's there. Right? If somebody's going to have a question, I think I can answer the news articles that have been published. Those are on there. The list of the schools I've gone to on there. Lots of pictures. They're all on there. And a lot of the website is, again, it's using the tools that are available. And for me, tools that are free. Randall's favorite word is free, and I'm right there with him. And so I use Canva to build most of my things I use. I use Photopea, Photopea, which is a web-based Photoshop, basically. And so between Canva and Photopea, I can make all the designs I want. And there's things you can't do in that. Did I lose you again?
Oh, a little bit. Yeah.
You're there?
You're breaking up a touch and then you're back. And we got the Canva stuff. I absolutely love Canva. I saw Lee Andrews, demonstrate Canva, at a conference, and I immediately, it was one of those, I need to learn this. And one of the things that I love about Canva is I can pre-make things ahead of time. So like if I get in a creative mode, I can make all of these little signs and things that I want to say in Facebook. And then I can tell Canva going, well, put this one out on Monday, put this one out on Tuesday. I mean, I can set the dates in Canva that I want it to be posted. And so I can spend one day and get a whole month done of work in a sense. And then it just does it for me, the date that I picked. And so I'm with you. I really love Canva. Did my one sheet with Canva and all of that type of stuff. So yeah.
Again, before you go, Ben, what was the name of your website?
It's santaandyou.com.
Is it the ampersand?
No, it's A&D. We used to spell things out.
Okay. We have people asking for it. So I just want to create something really quick. So
yeah.
And then one of the other things I've done is because I want to focus on photographers. I want to work with more photographers because I work full time. I've got a limit to how much I can do in December with clients and still working full time. So when I want to extend my season, it's extending it through November.
Right.
And so I've got several photographers I work with, and I created a website, which is, that's correct, which is ColumbusSantaPhotos.com.
So you have a second
Columbus
website
or Central Ohio, and I've got all my photographers on there. And so I'm driving traffic to that website. The photographers are driving traffic to that website. And so all the photographers are benefiting from the website, and then I'm benefiting it because the more they book, the more I'm booked.
So it's basically another site, if I'm understanding correctly, another site that you have all the photographers you're at, but it's not necessarily promoting you, but it's just saying, here are some options for the holiday season for you.
Yep. And so the goal of it is,
and if they pick it, then of course they're coming to you. Symbiotic relationship. Nice.
In order to be included on this ColumbusSantaPhotos.com website, you've got to book this Santa. So I think I have eight photographers, and it changes the dynamics of what you're doing because I'm not promoting myself at all. And the interesting thing is when I was trying to share Santa and You on the local Facebook groups, the Columbus moms and things like that, they don't want to see, this guy's promoting his Santa Claus. They're not interested in you promoting that. But if I share a resource where you can find a photographer in your area to do photos, they're fine with you sharing that.
Ooh,
And so I'm driving traffic to those photographers, which is getting me business.
that's awesome. Yeah, it's smart. That's smart. I like it.
And it's, I mean, the tools you want, if you want to be successful, the tools you want to find, you want to use are Canva, Chat GPT. Chat GPT is fantastic. And for example, I will go into Chat GPT and I tell it who I am. It already knows because I've used it a bunch, who I am, who Santa and You is, my website, all marketing posts each day for the next 30 days using my website, driving traffic, recognizing any national holidays or whatever, and it will spit out 30 posts just like that. And then I go into Facebook Planner and I start planning out my posts for the next 30 days. And so once I've done that, I don't have to think about it again for another month.
Nice. Yeah. I like
Google
those
Sites,
I like those
Facebook.
tools.
All this high tech stuff. I have a simple question that some Santas actually, and not just Santas, some of the Christmas performers actually use. Do you still use a business card?
Business card?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes.
I do have business cards. I do not give them away that often. I drive a bus for the Ohio State University. We're required by contract to say the word "the," and some people on the bus think I look like Santa Claus. I don't know what gives them that impression, but they'll ask me sometimes, do you play Santa Claus? And my answer is always, yes, I am a professional Santa Claus. I learned a while ago that because there's a lot of ways people answer that. I don't play Santa Claus. I am Santa Claus. All these different things. But when you say, yes, I'm a professional Santa Claus, the next question always is, what do you mean? You work in a mall, but you just opened it up for this whole thing of a conversation. I'm a professional because I go to schools. I've got insurance. I've got background check, all these different things. And then I do have business cards, which are not normal business cards because I'm not normal. And so my business cards are double the size of a regular business card. They've got a picture on it, so I can show them this, say, this is what I look like. And then on the back, it's got, my logo, phone number, contact, things like that. And so unlike at a trade show or something like that, where people are collecting business cards, they're not collecting a bunch of these. I want them to take a stick in the pocket, and then I want it to stand out when they have their whatever they had in their pocket that day. I want this to stick out above that.
Right.
I want it to not fit with what everything else.
Well, let me interject this. We have two questions here. Joe Edie wants to know, what is the name of the photo editor software that you mentioned?
Canva.
No, it was Canva was the one, but there was another one too, wasn't there?
You broke
like
the name of
What was the name of the photo editor
Photo
software?
P. Is that the question?
Yes, Photo P.
Photo P. PEA. Yep. Photop.com. And as soon as it opens up, it looks like Photoshop. Well, it looks like an older version of Photoshop, but it works really, really well.
Okay, and then Stacy is saying, since there are multiple photographers on the site, how do they feel about listing their competition on there? Are there any issues with that? Plus, it's also
I have
a
not
great
had
idea.
any issues. I've not had any issues. The thing I run into is I try to be very fair when I promote the website that I rotate through the photographers. I don't want to post three, as far as the names of photographers, I don't want to put 3 posts out in a row. I want to share Steph and Tiffany and Dave. And so everybody gets equal billing when it comes to that.
Awesome. Well,
but they all know that it.
Y'all know. Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit on me.
Sorry.
So no, finish your thought, Ben. We all know what
all the photographers know that it is helping them. It's if they share it, it helps them. If I share it, it's getting more eyes on
them. Awesome.
So, Michael, you're going to go into the
let's take a break
reading?
and do a thank you to the people who help us out.
Are you going crazy managing clients, contracts, and invoices? Kringle Tracker is here to help you. Stay organized with ease. Keep your sanity in check with Kringle Tracker's intuitive tools to effectively manage your schedule and clients. Our seamless, customizable contract system allows you to tailor your contracts to you and your clients' needs. Prepare for tax time like a pro by tracking your income and expenses and generate reports to make it a breeze. Transform your Claws business by signing up for a free 20-day trial. Kringle Tracker was created by a Claws for the Claws community so you can focus on making magical memories for your clients. Head over to kringletracker.com and sign up for your free trial today.
Awesome.
Now, Ben, I do want to also bring up a point too. Is
Welcome back. Sorry, I just had to. All right, I'll settle down.
It's okay. Someone just had a little bit more sugar than normal today. Anyway, one of the other things I wanted to bring up that I find amazing with what you have done from a marketing, not just yourself, but with the Ohio group that you created, was that even on the Facebook page, people can contact you and they have potential gigs that can't be filled. And you open that up to basically your entire community. And I think that's just wonderful. What made you want to do something like that?
So I created Ohio Santas is the community that I've embraced. And so I created a website and a group of Claws portrayal artists in Ohio or Central Ohio. And that it actually extends across the borders of Ohio. We have some Michigan and some Kentucky. And but I want to help. I want to be able to ask questions of people that are similar to me. So I can reach out to the Magical Fellowship group, and they've got people all over the place. And I can get somebody in California to answer a question right away, but they may do something there completely different than what I am. So when I was looking for answers, I was looking for answers from somebody who is more geographically located to me, just like Maps. You've got the group there. And so in doing that, suddenly I've got 200 members around the area that are all working together, and we're sharing ideas and feeding ideas to each other. And suddenly, why not put a jobs board on the website? So we, again, using Kringle Tracker, we have a lead widget on there. And so we have leads that come in. Those go out to all the members. And then any leads I get through my own personal that I can't fill, they go on there also. And I hope that the other members, if they get an inquiry that, December 7th, we're all booked already, but maybe somebody's not. And so if somebody contacts one of the Ohio Santa members, hey, we would like you to do 2:00 on December 7th. They say, well, instead of saying, no, I can't fill that job for you, sorry, how about next year? How about saying, I can't fill it, but why don't we check with the Ohio Santas and see if somebody there can do it.
See if they're available. That's
and so
awesome.
the goal is each of us want to fill up our schedule. But the next goal is to make sure that person gets a good Santa. Because if they get a bad Santa, they're not going to come back the next year for any Santa. So making sure they have somebody that.
No, go on.
No, you broke up. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, because I was actually going to fill in there too, though. But what I was trying to say is it's actually kind of nice too, because if you're actually providing, say, a quality Santa or quality Christmas performer, it also increases your market value, because not only are you a character portrayal artist, now you're also I don't want to say a booking agent, because you're not making anything from there by placing them. However, you're given the opportunity out there for another Christmas performer to come in. and still maintain a good
Yes.
reputation with the community.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And we've got Mrs. Clauses. They're listed in there also, and elves. But then I've also there's a separate link inside the website that lists just the Mrs. Clauses. We don't have enough elves to list just them separately. It's basically Nagel.
Sorry. So do you do anything, Ben, to retain clients and customers? So you've had this visited, you get a hold of them, you're here, I am, and it's worked, and they saw you, and you visited. What do you have any things that you do to retain them and to keep that business rotating back and forth?
Absolutely. So the first thing I do is I say immediately, but not immediately after the visit. So December 7th, or December 8th, all the visits I did on the 7th are going to get an email from me, thanking them for having me there, asking them how I did. What can I do? What could I have done better? Because I'm always looking to improve. And let's get you on the calendar for next year. About half of them contact me right then or respond right then. And yeah, second Saturday of December next year, and we pencil those in. This year, I think, is going to one. I've got some disappointed clients because of one less weekend. And I have some clients that I've had before that are not getting on my schedule. I think that is going to have them book earlier for next year. I've already had people that are contacting me, and we're trying to find a place to fit them in, and just can't. And let's get you on the schedule for next year so we don't have this problem next year.
Yeah, well, and I know with a leap year that this schedule it's the same as next year, so that it happens again next year. Unfortunately,
See, I haven't looked at that yet.
Yeah, because I've had that same kind of gig come up, going, well, there's not a fourth weekend, yeah. So one more year of no 4, and then we'll get back to semi-normal, or at least back to what we like.
Yeah, because I say, are we really normal?
No. The only thing I like Erna Bombeck's normal. The only thing that's normal is the setting on the dryer. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about your use of Canva. We talked about your use of ChatGPT and other AI items itself too. But what do you find is the best way to market yourself?
I market almost entirely on social media. I've never paid for any marketing. I learned when we had the photo lab that spending money on marketing, unless you have a lot of money to spend on marketing is just throwing money away. There's very little marketing that we were able to spend money on that made any difference at all. We even had we were given a quarter-page ad in the Columbus Dispatch when we had the photo lab, and we put a coupon in there so we would know that the people that saw the ad that brought the coupon in were our client, or people that saw the ad, and we didn't get a single one. And the Columbus Dispatch goes out to hundreds of thousands of people, and it's that kind of marketing is just not feasible for a small business like most of us are.
Right. So when you say social media, I mean, what social medias are you using?
The majority of it is Facebook. I also use Instagram, which is nice because Facebook and Instagram are both Meta. In the planner, when you schedule out your Facebook posts, they automatically go to Instagram also. It's just one little checkbox, and that goes to both places. And then I use Twitter a very little bit.
Awesome. So,
and without spending any money, my Santa Claus Facebook page over a 3-year period has got 9,500 followers.
Wow. Well,
and
you must
I'm not
be doing
exactly
something right.
sure how that happened, but that's not a penny spent, just posting posts and things that I think will be shared.
So one of the things that you can say to be successful with social media is to basically stay active on it, whether you use the Facebook planner and going and promote. But a key is to have a separate Facebook account or a separate social media account from your own personal account, because this way you can.
And then what I do is I make a post on my Santa Claus account.
Oh,
He froze up.
It's like,
Are we here now?
There, you're back. Yay.
Well, we can hear you. Yeah,
Okay. So when I make a post on my Santa Claus Facebook account and then I share it on my personal, I go to my personal account and I find my Santa Claus one and I share that post.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you what, let's do our trivia question.
Okay, you want to do trivia now?
Can I win?
Well, knowing that we're talking about marketing and stuff, I thought it would be really kind of fun to try to find something in that arena a little bit of promoting and that. So tonight's trivia question, here we go. What message was printed on the first mass-produced Christmas card? I believe the year was 1843. Oh, maybe I should have gave that to him.
I don't remember that far back.
What was the message was printed on the first mass-produced Christmas card?
Now, remember, the winner will actually have their name put into a drawing to win a scholarship to North Pole Cornerstone in San Antonio, Texas in January of 2025.
Which sounds awesome.
Well, we haven't. Nope, Joe, you are almost right. Oh, and we have a winner.
Nathan
Vanderbroek has won, and the answer is, Michael, there you go.
What message was printed on the first mass-producing Christmas card in 1843? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. There we go. And to this day, after tons of years, it's still going the same way. Is there a different trivia question you would have had, Ben?
No.
Was that your answer?
What is my favorite kind of cookie?
Oh, what is your favorite kind of cookie?
The one in my mouth? That's mine, but
I like all the round cookies and the square cookies. And
now, have you ever been in trouble for a cookie before?
I have. Do you know what? Well, first of all, do we want to do this?
My mind's going.
Let's preview this. But I do have one question before we go into that one.
All right.
The question was this:
I can't.
I'm sorry, but do you post at least once a day? What is the best posting cadence for maximum impact?
Well, that's a good question.
I try to post every day. Earlier in the year, I'm not as consistent. Probably by June, I'm posting just about every day.
And what kind of content are you posting every day? Is it just a greeting? It's like, hey, it's National Cookie.
I want to be. Oh no, it's well.
Now I'm gonna have to go look at your posts.
Yeah, it's. They're always like, well, okay. So right now I'm going through a series of tips, and so today's post was tip number 13: bring essentials. Carry a comb, brush, hairspray, and moist towelettes for quick touch-ups. Be prepared for any surprises. Stay tuned for more handy tips. Hashtag Santa and you. Hashtag be prepared.
Nice. Yeah, I love the tips. I do tips and reminders, and yeah. Awesome.
The other thing is to try to balance out the book me with I want to give you something. I want to share a tip. I want to share information. I want to tell you it's National Cookie Day. I want to tell you Oreo cookies are 200 years old. I want to, something interesting besides hire me.
Yeah, I'm doing a video series right now where I'm putting one a week out where have yourself a less stressful Christmas this year. And so I'm giving ideas to help people and clients to have a less stressful Christmas. A little bit of a tongue twister on that, but yeah, so I agree with you big time with that.
All right, well, why don't we go ahead now and have Ben set up the cookie story for everyone.
Yeah, we're down to 10, 15 minutes left, and I just love your cookie story, Ben.
So, are you Michael Herbie?
Yes.
Do you think Michael's on the naughty list or nice list?
Well, you can't answer me that question. He's my
What list do you
brother.
think
He's
he's
always on the good list.
Even when I deserve to be on the naughty list, there's some people out
Do you
there
know what
that
lists
will
I
definitely
have?
tell you naughty.
Well, I do know you have the nice list
Broken
and
up.
the naughty list.
And what else?
Oh, let's see. The
cookie
grocery
So
list.
there's nice list. There's a naughty list. There's a very nice list. And I will tell you right now, the reason I have a nice list and a very nice list is nobody's ever on the naughty list. And so by having a nice list and a very nice list, it allows me to give people room for improvement. So, so I have a nice list and naughty list, a very nice list, and then Mrs. Claus has a naughty list that I'm on right now because of some confusion about what exactly a cookie is. It's a long story. If you want to hear it.
Yes.
Oh, I want to hear it.
I do want to
Well,
hear it.
I was out in the stables getting the reindeer ready. We have a big day coming up, and I went into the kitchen when I was done, and on the table there, Mrs. Claus had a plate of cookies. And she said, "Nicholas, you may have one cookie, or you may have a cookie," and then she left the room. Oh, and so I went over and I got a cookie, and I ate the cookie. I ate the whole cookie. It was all gone. And if you have cookies, what else do you need?
Milk.
Yes.
You need milk. That's right. And so I went over to the ice box and I got a pitcher of milk. And I brought it to the table. And on the table now I had a pitcher of milk. And guess what else was there?
A cookie.
Plate of cookies. Well, Mrs. Claus said I could have a cookie, didn't she? And so I picked it up and I ate the cookie. And then I realized, for my milk, what do I need? I need a cup. And so I went over to the cupboard and I got a cup. And I brought it over the table. And now I have a cup. I have my pitcher of milk. And guess what else is on the table?
A cookie.
Cookies.
Plate of cookies. Now, Mrs. Claus said I could have a cookie, didn't she? And so I picked it up and I ate a cookie. And then I poured the milk into my cup and I drank my milk and I enjoyed it. And then I went and I put the cup in the sink and I came back to the table. And on the table was a pitcher of milk. And guess what else?
A plate of cookies.
A plate of cookies. Now, Mrs. Claus said I could have a cookie, didn't she? And so I ate the cookie. And then I took the pitcher of milk and I put it back in the ice box. And I came back to the table. And guess what I found on the table?
A plate of cookies.
Now, Mrs. Claus said I could have a cookie, didn't she?
Yes.
And so I picked it up and I was eating the cookie. And Mrs. Claus came in the room and she said, "Nicholas, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm eating a cookie." And she said, "I think you've had 5 cookies." And I said, "I've had 4.5 cookies, but I only ate a cookie." Now, how many cookies do you think I had?
Do I get... It's like,
Herbie, you think I had 1 cookie?
One big one.
all right, I'll play the devil's advocate. You had 5 cookies, Santa.
Cookies? No, I just had a cookie. Here, imagine for a second. I take their hands. I take your hand, Michael, and I'll say, imagine your hand is a cookie. If I ate that, what is that? Just a cookie?
It's just
right?
a cookie.
And then Herbie, give me your hand, and I take your. I said, but if I ate this, that would be 2 cookies. And if I have a bunch of children, I'll take another hand and I put it on there. That's a cookie, and we do that until we have 5. Now, if we have all 5 hands, that's 5 cookies. But then I take a hand off and I say, but this is just a cookie, and this is just a cookie, and this is just a cookie, this is just a cookie. And so I just had a cookie. And generally, Michael, those of you who said I had 5 cookies, sometimes you're back on board. Now you're like, okay, you had a cookie. But if you're not, then what I do is I say, okay, Michael, you can't. Herbie, you said I had a cookie, so can you do me a big favor? When I get back to the North Pole tonight, if Mrs. Claus is still upset about the great cookie incident, as she's calling it, can I come back and get you? Will you come to the North Pole with me and talk to Mrs. Claus and explain to her I just had a cookie? Now, generally about this time, the little children like Michael over there are like, hold on a second.
Wait,
forget
North
the 5
Pole,
cookies thing.
We're cookie.
We're all on board now. And so I'll say, okay, so this is important. And I'll find a dad in the back of the room usually. And I'll say, and you can back me up on this. when I get to the North Pole tonight, if Mrs. Claus doesn't say anything about the Great Cookie Incident, I'm not going to bring it up. Dad over there, if you get up in the morning, and I'm sure this never happens to you, but you do something to end up on the naughty list, and then you leave for the day, you go do whatever it is you do all day, and you come back home, and nobody says anything about what you did this morning to get on the naughty list, you're not going to bring it up, are you? And of course, they're like, no.
No.
Ooh, I'm not bringing it up. And you hear my bells, and I ring my bells. Then I want you to grab your shoes. You have a warm coat? Put your coat on, and we'll go to the North Pole, and we'll talk to Mrs. Claus, and we'll have a cookie party.
That's awesome. I love that story, Ben.
I do too.
I just love it. Oh, this
Okay.
has been a nice evening. I've enjoyed this time a lot.
We just have one more question here from
right.
Mike Connor. Have you ever settled in on the best time to actually make the post? Do you actually arrange or schedule all your posts in the morning, in the evening?
I generally use 10 a.m., and
10
I
a.m.?
don't know why I use that.
Well, the kids are probably off to school. The parents actually can have a latte or something, and they can actually look at Facebook. And
It seemed like when I was playing, Facebook will tell you, and I don't know, I haven't paid a lot of attention to it, what time your traffic is the busiest. In my mind, 10 a.m. was early enough that people haven't got on with their day and gotten, overwhelmed with things, but late enough that they've gotten past breakfast, getting the kids off to school, all that. It's just kind of a lull in my mind. I don't know if that's true or not. People that are going to work who've gone in at 8:30 or 9 o'clock. They did those first things they have to do in the morning, and now maybe they're checking Facebook from the office.
Whoa.
So
that was a weird noise.
There, you're back. Wow, I didn't realize that about Facebook would give you your timing of that. I've got to take a look at that. Well, I know that I work really hard to try to get people that are non-Christmas performers to like my page. In other words, so that way I'm not setting up on Christmas performers, but I work at communicating with those that are not there, that are potential clients or potential sharing, saying, "Oh, I know a Santa. You need to talk. You need to go look at this one." And so I try to pull that in too.
Yeah, I love having a lot of people see my posts, and I recognize with almost 10,000 followers on my Facebook page, 1,500 of them are all other Santa Clauses, Mrs. Clauses, or whatever. And so, and I love sharing with them. That's great, but they're not really the purpose of the post.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, well, our time's coming to an end. Is there any last advice that you would love to share with everybody, Ben? We're breaking up. Maybe I may have to ask you that, Herbie.
Say it again.
Wait, his eyes blinked. I saw the blink of his eyes.
That's a new superpower of Ben.
Any last encouragement that you would love to share with us before we go?
My encouraging thing is to do something. Don't sit back and think about marketing and think about marketing and think about marketing. Get out there and do something. You're going to, as you do it and you get out there, you're going to get better.
Yeah, that's right. Who was it that I'm trying to remember. I just saw a post that saying, you'll do this. The first time you do this, you'll fail. And then you'll fail. And it gave a list of all these things you'll fail, but you'll never get to the place where you don't fail unless you fail.
Right. And again, don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, I'm not saying go out and copy other Claus performers' Facebook posts and things like that. But think of the people, kind of like when I started with looking at Coca-Cola and their color schemes. Think of the people that spend millions of dollars on marketing and see what they do. Go look at those, Twitter or whatever these huge companies that are spending fortunes on marketing. See what they do. See if you can use them for inspiration.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Ben, so much. Herbie, any last comments?
Well, no, I just think you both pretty much nailed it. I mean, don't be afraid to try. also look at who you want to market towards. Look at who you want to attract, because again, Ben utilizes Facebook, and a lot of our clientele actually are Facebook users. But again, the next generation of parents is coming along, and that way now you start looking at like Instagram. So connect those sites, connect those Facebook pages to Instagram, get on TikTok, do whatever you need to do to actually get your name out there. And don't forget old school ways: business cards, postcards, reminders. Keep the post office in business, people.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and a reminder, everybody, don't forget about the Magic Fellowship on Thursday nights, and
Oh.
and Joe and Bob and Randall. Will they be back from their vacation
Yes.
on Monday?
Yes, the Tuesday night crew actually left Navarre Beach today, so they'll be back next week, back to work. So we'll be Monday with Bob and Randall and company, Tuesday night with Tuesday Night Live. Then, of course, tomorrow night you have the Magical Fellowship group.
And I think this is Erica's week. If
I believe
remember
Wingnut is
right.
going to be
Wingnut will
on there.
That'll be awesome.
So again, Ben just keeps that. It's like he's doing semaphore. That's how I see his hands going in there. It's like voguing. Let's vogue.
Oh, thanks for everybody for tuning in and listening. We appreciate all of you.
Yep.
And we're definitely better together.
And okay, Mike. Okay, next week. What are we talking about next week?
I don't remember.
Okay, well that's okay.
Did I write it? Wait, let me check my notes. Did I write it down? Did we write it down?
Yes, we did. Next week.
Oh, improv!
Yes, next week is improvisation. And as always,
because you're for me, you're my expert on that. There's a lot of people, but you teach me so much about that area.
Always remember to basically follow us and like us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube at the Kringle Brothers. And if you want to send any feedback or ask any questions or have any ideas that you'd like us to discuss, drop us an email, kringlebrothers2@gmail.com. So wonderful. And one more time, just
keep
in
those
case.
Dad jokes coming.
And keep those dad jokes coming. And again, this is Ben's website, santaandU.com. Check it out. You may be able to get some good ideas. And if not, you can always look up Santa and You on Facebook and also follow him there as well. Did I miss anything, Michael?
Nope, I don't think so. So thanks, Santa Ben, and everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.
All right, and may you find the magic in every smile that you inspire, and always live with a heart full of Christmas. Now, I just wish everybody could just see the credits that we're actually throwing our own rave party back here.
That's too much fun. So there's still a few people on. So Ben, you get to be a part of the Afterglow comedy, well, non-comedy, crazy question humor thing.
We just like to call it the Ferris Bueller moment.
So there's a priest, a politician, a police officer, Santa, and three elves.
An Olympic champion. Oh,
3 L's, 3 of them.
3 L's.
Un, deux, trois, uno,
I
dos,
did the
tres.
French thing because Mike does French words. You know, he's but whatever. It's
pardon my French.
You know, it's so
But I sound like
they
Maurice
all
Chevalier. Whoa,
they all walk into a bar. Right?
Does it hurt?
And what do they talk about?
Cookies. only a cookie.
What do they all have in common?
Well, Kringle Brothers.
They all listen to Kringle Time with the Kringle Brothers. All right, that was a crazy. That's the end joke, everything. But thanks everybody. We appreciate it. Have
Bye,
a great
everyone.